Chapter 18, Thursday, July 20th. When it finally rained, everybody was unprepared. Luke and Charla both pulled the sail canvas in opposite directions, spilling most of the water onto the raft, where it rolled off into the sea. Will had the shakes and the dry heaves from drinking salt water. He tried to stand up and catch the drops in his cupped hands, but succeeded only in tumbling off the cabin top, head first, into the ocean. By the time they managed to haul him back on board, the tropical cloudburst was over. The rain held about an inch and a half of water. It was enough for two mouthfuls each. The water was warm and tasted a little salty. The rain hat, along with the raft and everything on it, was crusted with sea salt. But it was fresh water, their first in 3 days. Every little bit helps, muttered Luke in disgust. What a joke. It's better to have nothing than a thimbleful. This was just enough to remind us how much we needed, and we're not getting, Charla agreed mournfully. Will's stomach was in such bad shape that he couldn't even keep his share down. He took one gulp and spit it over the side. The other three looked on in agony. To them, nothing could be sadder than the thought of wasted water. Boredom became as much of a problem as hunger and thirst. Minutes rolled into hours, rolled into days with dreary, gray sameness. The overwhelming dullness canceled out every other emotion, even at last, fear, teamed up with the body's weakness to sink Luke into an almost sleepy fog. A couple days before, every thought had been of rescue. Now it seldom crossed his mind. He really didn't expect to be rescued. Sometimes he was so numb that he couldn't have cared less whether he was rescued or not. There were moments when the Coast Guard could have rear-ended the cabin top and probably wouldn't even have noticed. He could tell he wasn't the only one. By the next day, Will had virtually stopped talking. He lay on his side under the damp sail, his parched lips slightly apart, drifting in and out of light doze. If anyone spoke to him, he only answered about half the time. More often than not, his replies made no sense at all. When Ian informed Will that it was his turn for shark bait position, he was told, Lissa came in second in chess club, but she lost to Seth Burnham in the finals. By unspoken agreement, Luke, Ian, and Charla stopped asking Will to take his turn dangling in the ocean. One thing was obvious. If they spent much more time lost at sea, Will was not going to survive. From the start, Charla had stubbornly insisted on exercising, doing aquatics and taking short swims during her short bake time. Now she hung off the edge of the raft, gazing at the horizon, with vacant eyes and never making an unnecessary move. Of the four of them, only Ian seemed to have the energy to talk. He filled the endless hours with tedious monologue of every single detail he knew about the ocean. And he knew plenty. Hey, Ian, mumbled Luke listlessly. Don't you think it's time to close up the Encyclopedia Britannica and give us all a break? The boy flushed redder than his harsh sunburn and windburn. I talk too much, he said sadly. I'm boring. I was just kidding, Luke was instantly sorry. If it wasn't for you and the Discovery Channel, we'd be dead already. Talk all you like. I shouldn't, Ian conceded. When you talk, the moisture inside your mouth evaporates, and you get dehydrated faster. Man, sighed Luke, I've given anything for Game Boy, even a lousy deck of cards. I'd settle for a piece of string, Charla put in. I used to know how to do the cat's cradle. A lot of people don't know that blue whales are bigger than sperm whales. Took up his lecture. They said on TV once that a blue whale's tongue weighs as much as an elephant. Ian, Luke groaned. Seriously, the boy continued earnestly. Look at that one over there. Must be 30 yards long. Luke sat up in sudden surprise. What one? Over where? The whale, Ian insisted. He's spouting water, 20 feet high. Luke stared. Before them, the Pacific Ocean stretched blue gray and unbroken to the horizon. There was no whale. He exchanged a worried glance with Charlie and turned back to the younger boy. And that show about shipwrecks, he asked carefully, what were the warning signs? I mean, how do you know when you're not going to make it? Oh, slow, lazy behavior, Ian replied. Too much sleeping, followed by hallucinations. People see things that aren't really there, he pointed. Look, he's spouting again,